Welcome to the School of Life series with me, Ryan Paul. Well, now this is the big question. What if you earn yourself 500 Kenyan shillings each and every day? How do you plan yourself? How do you grow the money? How do you budget it? So that at least you can invest and at least move towards the journey that we say is financial freedom. And by the way, this is a world to an individual. Probably you are seeing that 500 shillings and you say, that's my credit in a day. Let me tell you one secret. There are people who are earning this amount of money each and every day. Probably some of them, they usually have families. How do you grow yourself? How do you plan yourself? Okay, now that is the video for you. And guess what? I've actually distributed everything on this board for you to actually understand this. It may not be you, but you can get the information, share this information with someone who is doing the same. Probably these guys who are earning this amount of money, they disturb you each and every time, every day. Hey, lend me some money. And what of you sharing this knowledge or you share this video with them? They can be able to be helped and something of sort. And if it's you, then sit back, relax, and feel at home. Of course, I'm going to take you step by step. And by the way, don't forget to hit that subscription button, like this video, and turn the notification bell. That is the only way our YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video, so you don't miss any other, because this is what I do each and every time. I know already bored and you feel like, okay, fine, why don't you get started? Okay, fine, let me get started. Now, you have yourself 500 Kenyan shillings each and every day. You show up that place that you work, you get your 500 shillings, and you do have these big dreams, which is okay. Now, how do you start? First of all, there are things that you can never do away with. There are things that we call them the daily expenses. These are the things that you have to pay for them. These are likes of the food, likes of the transport, likes of the communication, and the likes of all those things just to make the wheel rolling for your life. Okay? Fine. The point is this. For me, I will talk about the rent, okay? And I will also talk about expenses. The rest is you to decide where you channel your money. There's one thing that I want you to do at this particular point when you're earning this amount of money. Just appreciate the fact that at this particular point, there are some things that are out of your touch. Things to do with the nice things to have. Forget about them. Not because that you can't achieve them and you love achieve, well, or you don't deserve them. You do, but forget about them. Right now, what you need to incorporate at this amount of money, that's what you're earning in a day. You should focus on growing yourself. Think about growth. Nothing about consumer mindset, because if you incorporate consumer mindset with this amount of money, you're going to mess up your life. Daily expenses, rent. I'll recommend never exceed 30% of your total income at the end of the month. Probably this amount of money actually sums up to 15,000 shillings at the end of the month. Now, what is the 30% of 15,000? That's like 5,000. Now, that you are the extreme end, I fully understand. Probably you want to get yourself quite a good home where it's actually near to your work because you want to cut off the transport. Fine, well and good. Set aside 150 Kenyan shillings, because if you take a 150 Kenyan shillings multiplied by 30, you get yourself 4,500. But again, if you ask me, I would recommend setting aside 100 Kenyan shillings each and every day for the purposes of the rent. I know somebody is about to be harsh on me, be like, where do you get a house worth 3,000 in Nairobi? Sometimes I say, even if it means you living in a shanty house, you'd rather look as if you don't think, but you do, rather than look as if you think, but you don't. This is not an emotional thing. This is a logical thing. It's a sacrifice, a discipline, and that's why it's not successful. Not everyone will benefit from this video. That's the point. I'm not a motivational speaker. I am a financial advisor. That's the difference. Now, I don't sell hope. I tell you the truth. Now, the point is this. If you can manage to set aside 100 Kenyan shillings towards your rent, then that means that you got yourself 3,000 set aside for the purposes of your rent. Out of the 15,000, now you're left with some cash. You got also to eat and do other things. Now, I recommend setting aside 250 Kenyan shillings each and every day for the purposes of that. Now, that depends. If you set aside 250 with regards to 150, that's okay, because that makes it a 400. If you put aside 100 for the purposes of the housing, then you can put aside like 300 towards the daily expenses. These are the foods and what have you. I'm just saying it in a very humble way. At least in a day, set aside 100 Kenyan shillings for the purposes of your savings. I repeat, or for me to actually incorporate this part, I'm actually considering setting aside only 100 Kenyan shillings. That's it. Just 100 Kenyan shillings each and every day. So, how much is that in a single month? That makes it 3,000. Now, out of this 3,000, now, if you were to save this amount of money for the next 6 months, okay, how much is that? Let's say that 6 months makes it like that good amount of money. But now the point is this. If you were to save just approximately 2,500 a month, okay, then that makes it 15,000 at the end of the 6 months. This is how I want you to do it. See, if you were to save yourself continuously a whole year, you get yourself 30,000. The next year, you'll get yourself 60,000 Kenyan shillings. That's 2 years gone. 4 years, you get yourself 120,000. You haven't done any miracle. You are not. Actually, we cannot regard you as rich. You still have a long way to go. Let me tell you one secret. You have to make sure that you understand the formula of money and how it works. If you look for money, you get less. And if you get that as enough to feed you and do all those kinds of things. This may be the long route to success. That's the reality. But the point is this: how do you do yourself? Now, you ask yourself, with this amount of money that I have as of now as 15,000, okay? But before I explain that, there's something I want to teach you here. That amount of money that you usually get each and every month, you should make sure that at least in a rate of 4 months, you've actually saved an unequal amount of money equivalent to what you get in a single month. Let me repeat. If you take, let's say this is month 1, 2, 3, 4. So by the time you finish month 4, you ought to have saved an amount that is equivalent to 1 month, okay? If you can be able to do that at every 4 months, you catch up with 1 month, then it means you'll be able to catch up with at least 3 months in a single year. If you can be able to rate, or if you can be able to actually go by that rate of saving for 3 months in a single year, solid, that's equivalent to 3 months in a single year, then your journey to success is actually where, it's dazzling and everything is good and the future is so nice for you. But if you cannot be able to catch up with that, then 5 months is recommended. But don't go beyond that, okay? Now the point is this. Now, you have your 15,000 in the savings. Now, has this made you rich? No, you're not. Okay, so what do you do with that 15,000? Now this is where the aspect of risk you have to incorporate yourself. Now ask yourself, what do I do to these 500 Kenyan shillings? I'm employed in a hotel. Okay, fine. How can I scale my skills? Because at the end of the day, if you're employed in a hotel, you'll be paid according to how the owner of that hotel perceives you. It's not who you'll dictate how much to be paid. They pay you in two ways. A, they pay you according to how others are paying someone like you. Number two, they pay you because they perceive that is the value of money that you're bringing in that specific place. Okay, now the point is this. You need to add value to yourself because we don't make money, we attract money. You have value. You have to attach value to yourself. Whenever you're doing your things, you can be able to do things. Now, you can ask yourself, do I go online and actually subscribe to a skill where I learned something that I can be able to incorporate it and be able to monetize that skill in the future? If there are ideas, and if you're young, fine, go with that. If there's a storm, maybe you are just a family member, you're already busy, your life is entangled, like you're in a station where you don't even have time to go and do exactly that. Now, you ask yourself, if you have a family, you have a wife, what does she do? She just stays at home. Fine. We have 15,000 Kenya shillings. I have a job that I'm getting 500,000 Kenyan shillings. Now what can we do with this 15,000 so that at least to increase the basket of our income in this place? You talk to your wife, okay? And just because, let me tell you one secret, just because you have a wife does not mean you should start a business with them. Some people are not just for business, they just squander your money. They don't understand. You have to understand your partner, right? So if the partner is for the business, then you're lucky. If it's not, then you can think of taking this money into a sacco, right? Or you should be saving that money into a sacco, meaning, okay, one thing you're supposed to understand, this 15,000 will never get your humongous amount of money. So what you do, you need to align yourself with like-minded individuals to help you grow your mind. So what you do, you align yourself with like-minded people. And that's why I tell people, it doesn't make any sense of you having 200 guys in your phone book, but you don't even help each other. Nothing. It's just a call manually shined out, or still a solution that just a nonsensical thing does not even help you in any way. Align yourself with at least 10 people who knows what they are doing. You guys go open an account. You guys in a circle, you say that we'll be setting aside 100 Ken and shillings. 100 Kenyan shillings for that, for 10 people, that's how much, okay? That's a very good amount of money. You take that amount of money each and every day to that specific place because that's 1,000 bob for all of you. 30,000 for a whole month. For a whole year, you have a good amount of money. In 2 years' time, you guys have a piece of property. Now you have owned your property. You can liquidate that property, get good money, start a good business. Now, the problem is, you get a property, you think of building your house, you'll never grow. You see, because you've bought a plot in Katingala or whatever place you've bought yourself a plot, you think of going there and building a shanty house so that you live, so that you escape from the rent. A big mistake. You can liquidate that property, go buy a bigger one somewhere. You can actually drop in a small farm and you start growing garlic, vegetables, and what have you. That's how you make money, because honestly speaking, if you were to save this amount of money for the rest of your life, you ain't going to make a huge amount of money. The point is this, you salvage something, and I know this is quite a small-spaced budget. You salvage at least 100 bob, you get yourself like 3,000. Just make it approximate of 2,500. You take 2,500. For 6 months, you have your 15,000. If you are saving by yourself, well, it's okay, but you're going to take a little bit of time. But if you do so with a good number of people, then it means at the end of the day, you can open an account, you get some good amount of money. You don't even need to get a debt or loan from anybody. You can use that amount of money, acquire something. That is how you progress. Or maybe in which you go. If you get this amount of money, you can sell this cash. They buy a small heifer. That heifer actually gives birth and you can do some milk. The point is this, after some times, you can sell that stock, you get some money. That's how you multiply some cash. Did I promise it easy? No, it is not easy. Did I promise it's fast? No, it is not fast. It takes time, it takes dedication. Or what you need to do is to understand what actually works for me. What exactly can I use and where exactly is the appropriate way of doing the things. Okay? Now, my parting shot is this. You can pick different areas where to invest. This $15,000 you can decide to talk with your partner if you're married to attack a small business. And if you're a young guy, if you're not married, you can put your money into a circle. The circle is giving you dividends at the end of the year. But again, that will make you rich. Even if you were to save the rest of your life, it ain't going to make you a huge amount of money. So you can save there, but you're doing so as you're looking. First of all, somebody usually asks yourself, where are you employed? Where are you making these 500 Kenyan shillings? Okay, you ask yourself, how can I improve myself in this kind of regard? How can I start maybe the business that way I'm employed? Or maybe, what exactly can I do with these savings of mine so that I can grow myself and move to the next level? That's the point. So the very, very important point is this. No matter how squeezed the budget it is, always make sure that at least you salvage some things for the purposes of investment. That's the reality. That's the reality. It doesn't require a miracle. It requires hard work. That's for sure. And I said, success is an intersection between two things. It's hard work and luck. So you cannot control luck. It's out of your control. But you can control hard work. You control how you think. Do what you can. And I'm telling you, if you are disciplined, if a good, huge amount of money shows up on your doorstep, you can actually manage to do something. The reason why I decided to make this video, I mean, receiving calls from guys are telling me, hey, you know what? I don't make that amount of money that you always talk about, but guess what? I make 500. What can I do with that amount of money? Now, that's a formula that you can be able to do all you need to be successful in life. This is the CBS Media School of Life series, where we help you think positively about life and find progress and success in this life we live. Until next time, see you.